Yesterday was your last day of school for the school year, transitioning into summer, which many people who aren't educators are like, oh my gosh, it's this like happy time off. And
that is nowhere close to true. We enter into this phase often completely depleted. It can almost feel daunting to step into summer.
Our nervous systems have been in fight or flight for a really, really long time.
The school year was closed, but I hadn't closed it. My experience of it wasn't closed. I would end up in total collapse. Like by the end of it, in total collapse.
What's shifted? What's changed for you? Why are you in this state where now you're transitioning and it feels a little more integrated for you?
Step one was finding that collective. I'm not doing this wrong. This is a collective experience.
Beth and I had the idea of taking all of you through our somatic intelligence competencies. Yeah, let's fill people's cups up today. Oh, it is that time of year. The halls are quieting, school's ending, and summer, what we've all been waiting for, has finally arrived. And if it's anything like my experience in the classroom, woof,
Oh, yeah.
all the feels are happening.
All at the same time.
Literally all at the same time. So why don't we just start this episode by taking 3 desperately needed breaths together.
I love it.
Oh, so take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Again, inhale, exhale. Biggest breath of the day. And out with a huge sigh. Much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, needed that. And I know that millions of educators just like ourselves are in this moment of deep transition, right? Ending the school year, transitioning into summer, which many people who aren't educators are like, oh my gosh, it's this like happy time off. And that's just not the reality
No.
for us as educators who have poured our hearts and our souls into our students, into our communities this entire school year.
Yeah.
And then there's this moment of, oh, and what do we do in the exhale? And I'm so excited, Beth, to have this extraordinary conversation with you in such a meaningful and pivotal moment in your life and in educators' lives, and to hopefully set all of the educators listening up for a summer that can be a little bit more restorative, a little bit more energizing, and a little bit more like, yeah, let's fill people's cups up today.
Absolutely. I think people who have not actively moved through this kind of transition, or actually this specific transition, it's very unique to our industry. And it's very unique to in the adult world, right? Like as kids, we all had this experience and it was fun and it was playful. And I think there is the general public out there believes that stays the experience for the adults in that realm. What they don't understand
is that that's not true.
That is nowhere close to true. That we enter into this phase often completely depleted and with some very conflicting emotions of, yes, I'm happy that we've closed this, but also there were things I didn't get to that I wanted to get to. And it's this funny reflective period that very few people can understand.
Well, I know you can understand it just in this immediate moment because yesterday was your last day of school for the school year.
Sure was.
And instead of just taking that moment to go into your bed and be like, oh,
right,
you decided to get on a plane from Montana to fly to me here in San Francisco so we can have this beautiful conversation.
Yes.
And just how are you, Beth, in this moment of transition?
I'm looking forward right now. I am ready for the restorative work that I now know how to do and that I now relish in and carry with me. But I would also very much I want to acknowledge everyone out there that is in this transition that maybe doesn't have that access point or that playbook just yet,
Totally.
and how, because I used to live there, and it can almost feel daunting to step into summer. And there are so many teachers. We've had these conversations, we have this collective experience where we might ourselves want to go have that magical fun summer.
Yeah. With all the plans in the world. Everything just like, oh, we've dreamed into it, and then we collapse.
Yeah, and we find ourselves unable
Mhm.
to get off the couch, or
Yeah.
unable to disconnect from the binging of Netflix or whatever it might be, where we are numbing out.
Or even unable to turn it off. Like
Correct.
our students are still in our hearts. We know where they're going home to.
Yeah.
We know that for many of them, it's a really challenging environment at home.
Mhm.
And we no longer are in connection with them every single day. And that's a lot to carry. It's a
Yeah.
lot of weight that we carry on our shoulders during the school year. But then it's not like it just snaps and turns off the
Mm-mm.
second summer starts.
No.
They're still in our hearts, they're in our minds. We carry them with us, and that is a huge, weight. It's a huge responsibility that we take on whether or not we intend to.
Yeah.
It just we
Yeah.
have huge hearts as educators and
Yeah, and there's a collective experience of true and real compassion fatigue. It's not
Mhm,
just a name for something. Like, that really is a deep and profound experience.
mhm.
And until we can learn how to maneuver through and have a clear ending of where these kiddos, or even these coworkers end and I begin, we're
Mhm.
just going to continue to deplete, whether they are actively in our existence
Yes.
or not.
Well, I know that, you're feeling, you said, ready, like you can move forward now, but this was absolutely not the experience
No.
that you shared with me when we first met.
No.
So can you talk a little bit about what's shifted, what's changed for you? Why are you in this state where now you're transitioning and it feels a little more integrated for
Yeah.
you?
I think I used to believe that it would just naturally happen, right? That the
Mm,
transition it was inevitable. Like I said, when we were kids and we were moving through school, summer was that magical thing that you could just step into.
yep.
And the play would come, and the joy would come, and the sun would come, and you would just move right along with
Mhm,
it. That stopped happening for me the longer I stayed in education. And I think it was because
mhm.
I wasn't keenly aware of what I was continuing to carry with me
Yeah.
after the close of the school year. The school year was closed, but I hadn't closed it.
And
My
then
experience of it wasn't closed.
what would happen for you?
I would end up in total collapse. Like,
Mhm.
by the end of it, in total collapse, where even the idea of making plans, I remember my husband wanting to take all of his vacation time and saving so much of that for the summer,
Mhm,
and our time with our kids for the summer, and realizing even the idea of making plans was starting to feel unattractive to me,
mhm.
because I knew I didn't have the capacity.
Yeah.
And even the idea of dreaming into it felt untouchable or
Mhm,
unreachable to me.
mhm.
And that's heartbreaking, because it's where you want to go, but you're aware that you don't have the capacity to get there. And then you start the self-judgment thing of, what is wrong with me? Because you
Yep.
have this idea that everyone else is out there just having that magical
It's just
summer.
not true at
No.
all.
No.
I think that's one thing that I've learned since I started Breathe for Change, where now we've just brought together tens of thousands of
Mhm.
educators through our programs. And it's just like, it's such a shared experience.
Yeah.
The heightened levels of stress, the heightened levels of trauma, the heightened levels of burnout that
Yep.
all of us experience that we carry with us,
Mhm.
not just into the classrooms, but out of school in our lives. It's so real.
Yeah.
And, but still, like, what was it that changed for you over these
Oh.
last few years?
Well, honestly, it was the step one was finding that collective. And,
Mm,
like, step one had to be, I'm not doing this wrong. This is a collective experience.
Mhm.
And then
Feeling seen.
feeling seen and recognizing that maybe there's nothing innately wrong with me.
Mhm.
I'm
There's
not
not.
doing it wrong. And
Right.
that and then acknowledging that none of us were handed the tools that we needed
Mhm.
to like, we were handed the tools we needed to instruct in front of our student population,
Mhm.
but we were not handed the tools and how to care for self
Yeah.
and then care for others beyond that instructional scope. And because Breathe for Change brings all of these people together, that became the community of acknowledgement,
Mhm.
right? That accountability piece where we started saying yes to one another.
Mm.
There's nothing wrong with us. Maybe there's something innately wrong with the system that programmed us for this work.
Mhm.
And then came the reprogramming,
Yep.
right? And learning, once the acknowledgement and the acceptance comes in, then the curiosity begins to bloom, and then we can start to say, maybe something else can come in
Mhm.
and fill up this space and lead my direction. Maybe it's not inevitable that I will go into full collapse. That's not a have to
Right.
during the summertime anymore. And through the original training that I went through in Breathe for Change, and then even deeper into scope through the master's program, I built a solid, accessible toolbox that I use now throughout the year to practice, but very intentionally set myself up for restoration in the summertime, particularly at the very beginning of the summer, right here, right now, right?
Yep.
Which is why it does
Literally today, day one
feels
of summer.
so meaningful to be having this conversation with you
Yeah.
today, because today is where I hold myself to account to begin this very important restorative work.
Gosh, having seen and just witnessed your journey over the last several years of you taking the tools that we teach at Breathe
Mm.
for Change and not just like integrating them into your life as
Uh-uh.
these one off things, but literally living them, breathing them, embodying them full on.
Yeah,
Like it's become who you are.
absolutely. Yeah.
And it is so inspiring to me. And I just think about what's possible
Uh,
for educators
uh-huh.
everywhere, for our students, for our education system,
Uh-huh.
if more people got access to these types of practices and tools that are life changing.
Yeah.
And so, one thing that you mentioned that I thought was really interesting is that in your experience in the training,
Uh-huh.
the first thing that you noticed was like, oh, wow, it's this
Yeah.
awareness that this is a collective experience. Like, we're all stressed, we're all burning out, we're carrying the weight of the world on our shoulders.
Uh-huh.
And there's this sense of feeling acknowledged
Yeah.
and seen in that space that allows you to then do the work necessary to fill your cup back up.
Yeah.
And, awareness is the first component of our human intelligence framework that we've created, right? We've got the intelligence of the body, somatic intelligence. We've got the intelligence of our emotions, emotional intelligence, the intelligence of our minds, right? Cognitive intelligence, the intelligence of our relationships,
Yeah.
relational intelligence, and the intelligence of that thing that is greater than ourselves, our purpose, universal intelligence. We have all these different layers of who we are,
Huh?
and across the board, whether it's our bodies, our emotions, our thoughts, our relationships, it has to start with awareness. How am I doing right now in my
Uh-huh.
body?
Uh-huh. Or am I
What's
even in my body?
am I in my body?
Mhm.
And I think when we're sitting here, it's the beginning of summer. The thing that comes up to me is the body
Yep.
because our nervous systems have been in
Absolutely.
fight or flight for a really, really long time, or even beyond fight or flight. We've gone too far in this like exhaustion, withdrawn, like the opposite.
Uh-huh.
Right? That's either hyper arousal is the fight or flight,
Right.
or hypo arousal, collapse,
Yep.
withdrawn, just exhausted. And where we want to go now, that we have a little bit more space, is in that window of tolerance right between, where we can be in a more regulated, clear, grounded space. And that takes deep practice.
It does.
And so today, Beth and I had the idea of taking all of you through our somatic intelligence competencies.
Hmm.
There's these 5 competencies that we teach in our master's program. And we want to take you on a journey of exploring your own competency within these 5 beautiful skills. And we're going to give you some of our favorite practices to support your summer so that it can be more restorative, rejuvenating, and healing, right, Beth?
Yes, and these things really do become a way of turning that summer back into something you can relish and back into
Yes.
something that can feel truly enjoyable again.
Mhm.
That inner child can come back to play in the summertime as long as we really can come on back in, nest back into this physical system, and feel our way through that healing process and through that restoration.
I mean, somatic intelligence is about vitality.
Yeah,
And what you're talking about right now is literally the essence of vitality. It's
correct.
how do we reconnect with that liveliness within us, with the
Yes,
energy that brought us into teaching in the first place, that all of us carry as educators. We are here because we care so deeply about our kids. We want to change the world, but it gets sucked out of us. The energy just is like, ugh, it gets depleted.
that's right.
And so it's like, how do we subtly, slowly, gently, mindfully fill our cups back up so that we can experience the vitality, the energy, the aliveness that brought us into education in the first place? And that's going to make staying in the profession something that is sustainable.
Right.
And there's this beautiful space we have here over the summer to tap into that, I think, a little bit more deeply
Absolutely.
so that all of us can enter into the new school year with not just like, "Ugh," this like, "Oh, no, I gotta do the thing all over again,"
That's
which I
right.
know I felt after several years of teaching.
Mhm.
But it's like, "Oh, I get to do the thing again."
That's right. Yeah, if we can spend time coming back to self and really re embodying back with the self, then we can go back and reach back out to other. But if we're continuing, if we carry that
Mhm.
external baggage carry through our summer, we're never going to restore self enough to be able to go back and give again.
And that's what happens, that, like, carrying it with us when we're not bringing our awareness to what is happening in our body.
Yeah,
That's the first competency of
right.
somatic intelligence, which the scientific term is interoception.
Yeah.
That is the ability or the capacity to notice
Hmm.
what's happening in my body right now,
Right.
right? What am I experiencing? What sensations are present for me? Where is there tension? What am I holding right now? What is going on in my body? That is the foundational competency for somatic intelligence. We can't experience vitality, aliveness, this energy source if we do not know what's going on
Right.
because we are out of our bodies.
That's right. And I don't think that people are aware of just how much time we spend totally dissociated from our physical system.
Mhm.
And until we can re-tap in, what's beautiful about it too is that once you do start doing this
Yeah.
work, that natural communication mechanism starts to take place without so much cognitive effort. Like it
Mhm.
is, I acknowledge it is practice and it does maybe feel awkward or strange or unusual in the
Oh,
beginning.
for sure.
But then once it becomes a regular practice, which again, beautiful summertime opportunity, right, to turn that into a practice, then when the body speaks, we begin to naturally hear it. And the beauty of the body is that it never stops speaking to us. It will always reflect back to us where we are.
The question is, are we going to take the time
Mhm.
to listen?
Yeah.
And the body has so much wisdom,
Yeah.
so much wisdom. And when we actually draw our attention to what's going on inside, we listen for, huh, what is it telling me
Mhm.
about what I want, what I need in the moment? It's from that place of awareness that we can actually take actions in alignment with what we need and
Absolutely.
give ourselves the gift of that.
Mhm.
So, what's your favorite interoception practice?
Well, okay. So for me, before
Mhm.
I can do anything, I breathe, which we just did, right? We
Yes.
took those 3 collective breaths together. And then I
Ah.
have to, once I'm breathing, I'm more in my body.
Mhm.
Then one thing that I love to do is a simple body scan where
The
my attention, yes, and it really is as simple as I'm bringing my attention to the body. It's that basic, it's that simple. And the way I do it is I will start at the top of the head.
Mhm.
For me, closing my eyes works, but I've been known to do this while driving as well. So, for those of you that are listening, as we move through these processes, just know it doesn't have to be something where you're in a quiet room and you're all by yourself and your eyes are closed
And
and
you
you're
need
very
30
still. No,
minutes of
it's nothing
quiet.
like that.
No.
Like it can be a very quick turn in and just re embodying.
Yeah.
But my favorite way to do it is just to start at the top of the head and put all of my attention there. And
Mhm.
then just notice, what am I sensing? Sometimes it's just quiet. Not usually, though.
Yeah.
Oftentimes there's some felt tension, whether it's in the top of the head, whether it's in the back of the head. Sometimes there's a little bit of pain. Maybe all of a sudden I notice when my attention goes to the top of the head that my jaw is clenched and I didn't even
Mhm.
realize that was happening. Or my eyes feel dry or whatever it might be, right? But the body is letting me know something.
Yep.
And then once I notice, I just acknowledge it and accept it for what it is. No
Yep.
judgment, just awareness.
Yep.
And then I move down through the neck into the shoulders. That area often loves to let me know something as
Well,
well.
that's because we carry the weight of the world on our shoulders as educators, literally. And in the body scan, it always reveals itself.
Right?
Yeah.
And I just move my attention from there down through the arms, noticing oftentimes there I will notice maybe vascular issues. Are my hands cold? Are they hot? Like what's happening? All the way down through the torso, maybe into the low back, there's some tension or some pain. Maybe this is where I notice, oh, I haven't eaten recently. Like I'm
Mhm.
hungry, right?
Mhm.
Down into the hips. The hips often for me is where I notice I carry emotional baggage. And
Yes.
so, if I've got some level of trauma that I am still carrying, I often have to spend a lot of time just allowing that to be what it is
Mhm.
and allow it to speak. It can, for me, be a slower access point. Like it takes
Mhm.
a little bit more time to come up and speak there. So, I
Mhm.
often will just allow my consciousness to just sit there for a bit and then move down through the legs, through the knees, down all the way into the feet and really feeling my feet on the floor. And when I'm finished with that, I now have this full script of information that the body has spoken. And now I have a roadmap of where to go next.
Absolutely. And this is why it builds the foundation for somatic intelligence, because what's next after interoception, after noticing and observing the sensations in our bodies? Well, it's attunement. It's it's wow, now that I see what is happening inside my body, huh, let me listen for what those sensations are actually telling me
Yep.
about what I want right now. More importantly, what do I need right now? Maybe what boundaries do I need to set right
Oh,
now?
yes.
Maybe it's like I'm actually able, for once, to tap into what do I desire right now? I know desire can be the first thing to leave when we're stressed and overwhelmed and anxious.
Yes.
And so when we do the practice of the body scan, it then leads us to be able to do another practice, like of decoding the signals,
Mm.
of like literally like, huh, okay, there's that tension. I'm seeing, just like what you said, that I'm hungry. This is really important information. Maybe I should go grab a bite, right? Or maybe I'm noticing that my heart feels heavy. Ugh, it's making me realize I need more human connection. I need to like surround myself with the closest people in my life and just, I need a
Yes.
hug, right? It's in the attunement that we can see what we want, what we need, what we desire, what's not working, what we need to shift.
Mhm.
And then from there, it ends up leading to the next competency of regulation. But we don't want to go there yet because I think so often, especially in education context, we go immediately to regulation
Absolutely.
and we skip over this critical moment and skill of noticing that awareness and attuning
Yeah.
and giving a little space before we decide and we react really quickly like, what is it that I have to do? Usually, if you create the moment of pause to do the attunement work, then what you actually need surfaces more clearly.
Yes, and I think often we do talk about regulation a lot, especially in the environment of education these days.
Mhm,
But too, like you said, if we go there too quickly, we are not fully accepting what is, and we're
mhm.
not allowing it to be okay. And
Yeah.
the thing is, anything that's happening in our body at any point is always okay. It's
Mhm,
not about fixing something. And I think we
mhm.
approach regulation incorrectly in the world of education when we're attempting to fix.
Ugh,
Really, this attunement piece is getting the information so we know how to address a need, not fix a problem.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you had talked a little bit about how accessible a body scan can
Oh,
be.
yeah.
So, I would love for you to show us what that looks like in
All right,
action.
let's do it.
All right.
Okay, so just find yourself in space. And again, you can do this anywhere. If you're driving your car, follow along. Just, keep your attention also in what you're doing in the world.
Mhm.
But we can also make space for our body. Or if you want to go all the way in, go ahead and just get really comfortable and close those eyes. It's up to you how you choose to do this. But all we're going to do is take our full attention to the very top of our head and just let it land there and just breathe into this. What are you noticing? No judgment, not even a ton of questioning, just an awareness. What is showing up there? Feel the sensations. And now let's bring that attention, just let it filter down, almost like a waterfall, right? Like water coming down over your head. What do you notice as that awareness is coming down on your face, down the back of your neck? What's showing up? And then going even further down into the shoulders, down into the chest, the upper back. What is showing up in this area? Just any sensations, any physical feelings that we have. And now letting that attention just quietly move down the arms. What is showing up as we move down through the arms, the elbows, the forearms, and even into every little fingertip? What begins to show up for you here? Allowing if judgment comes in, we're just going to release it. We're just going to say yes to what is, and we're going to accept it as real and true. And then bring that attention down through the abdomen, down into that back and that lower back, and just pause here. In the core of your being, what is showing up, accepting it fully, and now settling into the hips. And again, here, I typically like to spend a little bit more time. Sometimes this area, because it can be so protective, will take some time to open, but just notice what's here. What sensations are living here? And then following down, slowly down the leg, into the knee, down the calf, and then finally landing into your feet. Just notice what sensation there is speaking. And again, no judgment, just acceptance. And then now, with all of this beautiful information, just take in a deep breath and release it. And before you fully come back, thank the body for speaking. And then we can come back into this present moment and begin the exploration of what all those sensations were attempting to say to us. Because, like I said, this body is always speaking. What showed up for you?
Well, as I was moving from the head down, I noticed that at first I felt like tightness in my head and then some tension in my shoulders. But because you have the just most beautiful voice, I was getting calmer and calmer. And it was this interesting observation of like the tension in my stomach area and then all the way down to my toes, I could feel it loosening.
Yeah. Well, see, here's the beauty of acceptance, right?
Yes.
When we can tell the body it's okay, I accept you just as you are, some of that
And
innate tension just naturally goes.
that in and of itself is a gift and a practice.
Yeah.
It's through acceptance that, it's like we can move forward
Yeah.
because so often we don't want to be experiencing what we're experiencing, or we're
Yes.
too scared to even go there. So we push it down, but
Yes.
it doesn't mean it goes away. It's still there. So it actually gets bigger, right? What we resist persists.
Right.
We give ourselves the space to just go through the process of noticing sensation.
Mhm.
The sensations literally shift through the practice itself.
Right.
And it leads to this sense of what we talked about earlier, which is the competency too of attunement.
Mm.
And so, for all of you who just experienced Beth's beautiful body scan, I encourage you to just bring your hands over your heart, or one hand over your heart and one over your belly. And if you're driving, you better keep those hands on the steering wheel, my friends. But just take a moment to turn your attention inward. Maybe you close your eyes, maybe you keep them open. And just after observing the sensations in your body, can you just ask yourself, sensations, body, what is it that I need right now? What is it that in this moment would be nourishing, that would feel supportive, empowering? What is it that I'm wanting? What is it that I am desperately needing, that I desire even? And what is it that I need to let go of? Right? These sensations, our body, these signals, when we decode them, have so much information, so much data, so much wisdom in them. And it's through this practice that you're doing right now of listening that the revealing can happen. And then you become equipped to actually give yourself what it is that you need in this moment. So just tune in, attune, as we say, and notice, what do you need right now? And if your eyes are closed, then you can gently open them. And I'm curious for you, Beth, what just showed up for you when you actually took time to listen?
Originally, the thought was rest, which seems very obvious. And like I said, I was expecting not to sleep well last
I
night,
was
and I
going to
slept
say,
so well.
when this morning Beth woke up, she runs upstairs to see my 4 and 2-year-old daughters,
Oh my
Aaliyah and
gosh.
Zoe, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, yeah, everyone, I slept
I
so
actually
well last
slept
night."
because often when we're so fatigued, it can feel hard, right? So
Mhm.
that is obvious. But as I sat longer, there's just this beautiful reconnection that happens with my knowing self and my physical self. How this body that I am so blessed to live in really appreciates being reconnected to. And I'm just very much sensing that I have been neglecting that and that she just is very, very ready to be listened to. And so as I was listening to you, I did kind of dedicate, so, like, I made a dedication to her that I got you, I hear you, and I am listening. I am listening closer now.
I'm brought right back to this morning where Zoe, my little one, woke up, ran down the stairs, and she's like, "Mama, mama, mama," and she, like, just wanted to be in my arms,
Yes.
attuned to,
Yes.
for hours, right? And
Yes.
we were
Yes.
playing with her, but she's just like, "Mama, don't let go."
Yes.
And it's like, where was it in our lives that we lost sight of the importance to do that to ourselves?
I
To,
don't think
like,
we were ever
hold
taught to do that to
on.
ourselves.
We
Yes.
weren't. And
Right?
that's why it's like we had to include somatic intelligence within our human
Absolutely.
intelligence framework
Mhm.
because somatic intelligence, I would argue, is the one that is the least taught in school.
Mhm.
So if we are not taught to observe, to listen to, and to effectively adapt to what our body needs in the moment, then how in the world are we expected to do just that?
And this society that we live in is so just professional at programming us to judge the body,
Mhm,
right? And to let it know it's never good enough.
mhm.
What kind of a system, if that is the regular message we are giving to ourselves, what kind of a system is going to want to speak to us? Like it really is healing work we all have to do. And we really have to change that messaging. And that messaging cannot be changed until we are changing it inside of ourselves. It's profoundly,
Absolutely.
profoundly important work.
And what's so incredible is that when we as educators engage in these practices, right, go through the process of interoception, of observing what is going on in my body,
Mhm.
and then attuning, right? Listening for what is it that my body wants and needs. Then we, as educators, can effectively regulate ourselves.
Yes.
That's what competency 3 of somatic intelligence is all about. It's adapting to what our body actually wants and needs in the moment.
Mhm.
And we do not mean that regulation looks a certain way.
No.
It doesn't. In schools, we've got it all wrong.
Yep.
The way we talk about regulation kills me.
Mhm.
It's like kids' hands by their sides or in their lap or behind their backs, quiet. No
Mhm.
one can talk in the halls. That's how we think about regulation. That is not what we're talking about here.
Mm.
The body gives us the wisdom that we need to know what we actually want,
Mhm.
to know what we actually need to nourish ourselves in the moment, to adapt to whatever it is our body is telling us, like trying to communicate to us that you got to do this thing. Like
Yeah.
it might look like we might be in a state of fight or flight, like anxious, overwhelmed, and likely what our body is telling us that we need is grounding and centering.
Correct.
Or perhaps, like many of us educators are feeling right now, we're exhausted,
Yep.
we're depleted, we're collapsing, we're withdrawn. Likely what we need is perhaps some rest,
Mm.
some relaxation, but then also some energizing
Yes.
activities, some play, right? More connection to
Mhm.
bring us back to ourselves, right? Energizing the body is a whole category of practices that we might tap into this summer, right? To bring that
Absolutely.
back.
Absolutely.
Also, if we're finding through the process that we are holding so much tension and stress in our bodies, then what we likely need, how we can regulate ourselves, is doing some release tension practices,
Yes.
right? So, regulation is about giving our body what we need, but we
Yes.
can't do that unless we take the time to listen and know.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, some of my favorite practices to do, at least when I'm feeling anxious and overwhelmed in that like hyper aroused state, like,
Mhm.
fight, flight,
Mhm.
are like the more grounding,
Mhm.
centering practices, even that
Yep.
3 collective breaths like we started the
And that's
podcast
such
with.
an accessible one. Yeah.
What's another one that you like to do
So
to
one
ground?
that I love to do, and we'll do it collectively. So this is something that people that I work with know, and that my students always knew too, because it is so accessible. Is feeling your roots, and
Oh,
it's all
love
I
that
live in
practice.
Montana, right? So there are trees everywhere you can look, and so the idea of when you look at a tree and it doesn't matter what comes at it, it's not afraid, right?
Right.
It will ebb and it will flow and it won't break.
It
And
is rooted into the earth,
absolutely, and it's
literally.
got that foundation.
Mhm.
So this is a practice. Should I move you through it?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is a practice that will take us energetically. Oftentimes when we are in that hyper arousal state
Mhm.
where that anxiety is there, maybe that just over compliance is there, that
Go, go, go,
to-do
go, go,
list.
go, go, go,
Yes,
go.
yes.
Yes.
And we actually leave our bodies. Our
Mhm.
awareness leaves our body entirely.
Mhm.
And so the idea of this one is to just come way back down and even ground into Mother Earth, right? So let's do it together. So
Wow.
I do appreciate this one with both of my feet flat on the floor.
Mhm. Mhm.
And we can be sitting. Oftentimes, this one feels really empowering to do from a standing
Oh, yeah.
point, but it really doesn't matter. The idea is we're just going to pull that energy down. And so hands can be on the lap, they can be on the abdomen, on the chest, whatever feels grounding. But those palms down can
Mm,
add another grounding
so
effect,
good.
right? And we're just going to at least bring our focus in internally. But if it's accessible, you can close your eyes to assist getting embodied a little bit further. And we're just going to breathe and we are going to notice where our energy is. And we're going to bring that attention of our energy down wherever you can notice it, wherever you can access it right now. For me, it is up in my head, which is pretty high. And I'm just going to notice that energy there. And I'm going to bring it down. I'm going to imagine it even growing those tentacle like roots and moving down through my physical body. And wherever your attention is, just imagine those roots growing down further and further, just like a plant would. Anyone who did those science experiments in school this year where you watched the roots grow down, imagine your own roots growing down and down and down. And when it gets into that foot space, we're going to see those roots just going deep into our Mother Earth. She will hold us up just the way she holds up all of the trees, all of the plants on this planet. She can energetically root us down too. And if I need a lot of energy here, I'm going to go all the way down and even imagine that my roots are going down to her hot core and wrapping around that energetic body where I am rooted down into the center of this physical existence, that center of the gravitational pull. And it is so grounded and so rooted that I feel absolutely unshakable. And I can just feel that energy moving back up into my body, and it is holding me. I feel the safety moving back up. I feel that heldness moving back up, climbing up into my system, and just noticing how held I am, how held I have really always been, and how beautifully held I remain. And then just acknowledging to the body that I will come back to this space and that she can let me know anytime I need to come back here, I can bring her back here. Deep breath in and full breath out. And then coming back into the room if we
Mm.
left it. But there's just a sensation in that one about, I don't know,
Oh,
reconnecting.
my whole body is tingling. That
Yeah.
was extraordinary. It was so soothing,
Mhm.
centering, grounding. Like, there's not an ounce of, like, this, like
Right.
it, like, got it you took me down.
Fully embodied.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then connected to the ultimate embodiment, right? This
right.
planet that keeps us all alive. Like
Totally.
knowing that we are always connected.
And if any of you who are listening and who enjoyed that practice, like, if you're walking through the world in the next
Oh.
day, week, months, and you notice your energy is up here, it's like that,
Mhm.
frenetic energy, you could literally just pause from walking for 20 seconds, 30
Mhm.
seconds, and do that grounding, feel your roots practice,
Mhm.
and just go right along on your way. Can make an unbelievable difference.
And it being summer, what a beautiful time to take your shoes off and do this in the
Oh
grass.
gosh, go into the grass,
Mhm.
go wake up in the morning,
Yeah.
have your coffee, go do your feel the roots
Right.
practice.
Or if those of
So,
you that live by water, go put the feet in the water,
mm.
right? Like, but yeah, reconnect to
And if
that
you don't have
organic
time to go
root.
outside, just do it in your bedroom. Like, all
Yes,
good,
it all
right?
works.
All
It
works.
worked right
So
here.
I love that it's a practice that, like, represents the tree.
Yeah.
And it was really special for me. My name means living tree, so there was this, like, embodied
Yep.
experience of that for me. But there's another practice that I find to be unbelievably helpful for grounding and centering called the 4 to 6 breath.
Mm.
And this one is literally just about elongating or lengthening your exhale.
It's beautiful.
If you want to use the numbers on the inhale, you count to 4. On the exhale, you extend that by counting to 6. But if the numbers feel too much for you, you literally just take a natural breath in and you lengthen the exhale. You want to try just
I
a
love this
couple
is
of
one of my
breaths?
favorites too.
We'll
Yes.
just do a few breaths together. Again, if you want to go totally inward, you can
Mhm.
to try this on. Or you can just breathe as you're walking through nature, driving, whatever. But
Yeah.
just, find a comfortable position and then just take a natural breath in. And on the exhale, just lengthen the breath out just a little bit. And then continuing to take that natural breath in and elongate your exhale. And if you would like to add the counting in, you can count to 4 on each breath in. And you can count to 6 on each breath out. And so just do about 2 more rounds of the 4 to 6 breath at your own pace, your own rhythm. And then begin to return to the natural flow of your breath, just breathing completely naturally. And before you come out of the practice, can you just take a moment to check in? Notice how you feel. What was the impact of lengthening your exhale? And then, whenever you feel complete, you can come out of the practice. And I'm curious for you, Beth. How are
Oh,
you feeling?
that one is always such a just a readily accessible touchstone
Mhm.
that I use all the time.
Yeah.
And there's so much science. This one has been studied very, very, very well. There's so much science on what a quick reset for our nervous systems this one can be. For me, it can take an elevated, like I didn't even realize that there was space for me to come down, but I clearly did. There was
Mhm.
space for me to settle even just a little bit more into self here. Yeah.
Beautiful. This one is, like, particularly emotional for me because I in 2 moments of the most heightened stress and trauma in my life, my body just naturally went to the 4 to 6 breath.
Yep.
First, when I was in labor with
Yeah.
Aaliyah, and it also happened with Zoe, but, contraction after contraction, the most pain I've ever experienced or felt in my life. It was in each contraction, I just lengthened my exhale.
Yep.
It was like what my body, because I've done these practices consistently for years, my body knew,
Yep.
go to it.
That's right.
And it literally was the saving grace for me
Mhm.
for birthing my children.
Mm.
And then last year, when I had the rock climbing accident, I fell 44 feet and somehow miraculously survived right when I landed. And I was in complete shock.
Yep.
And then I was, in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. I went into the 4 to 6 breath.
Mhm.
It was because, literally, it was like the only thing in that moment that I could do was get through the next breath.
Right.
And it's the lengthening of the exhale. What's happening in the nervous system is it's taking you from a sympathetic state where you're in that fight or flight and you're like,
Fully
"Ah,"
activated. Mhm.
fully activated into a parasympathetic state, like rest or digest. That is what
Yeah.
is going on inside your body.
Mhm.
And when you use the breath to activate the parasympathetic state, you literally transform your nervous system. Even though you're experiencing this, heightened moment of stress, you can
Yeah.
still transform your internal reality and experience of that stressful moment.
That's right, and the more we practice it, the body can begin to know it needs it in the time, and we don't even need that cognitive switch to go off and say, "I need
Right.
to do this breath." In your moment of trauma, you were so well practiced in this that your body knew what to do to care for itself.
And that's the distinction between a responsive approach and a proactive approach to these practices,
Right.
right? The proactive approach is when you consistently integrate these practices into your routines,
That's
right? So
right.
I had more proactively practiced this, whether it
Mhm.
was in, meditation or yoga classes or just at home after I learned it because it was meaningful. But then I was able to use it responsively, and that's when you respond to the moment, right? When there's this heightened moment of stress and you can draw on these practices to respond
Yeah.
to whatever is going on in the moment. And that's what regulation is about. It's responding,
Right.
right? And so, gosh, what a meaningful practice. And on the flip side, right, we've got the 4 to 6 breath, which is about grounding and centering. Oftentimes, we're in this exhausted, withdrawn, like low arousal state called hypoarousal. We have too little arousal. Like if you're in the fight or flight, that's too much arousal, hyperarousal. Sometimes we're on the opposite side of the spectrum. And I would argue a lot of times in this moment at the beginning of summer, that's where many of us are. It's like that
Yeah,
collapse,
that freeze state.
freeze state.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what we can do in that moment is give ourselves a little bit more energy to come back to center. That's
Right.
what we need in that
Right.
moment often. And so you can flip the script. We got the 4 to 6 breath, which grounds and centers you. You also have the 6 to 4 breath.
Right.
And you can lengthen the inhale, have a natural exhale, and that does the opposite. It gives you more energy.
Mhm.
So should we try that
Let's do
on?
it. Absolutely.
Okay. So come on back to center, whatever that means for you. You can keep your eyes open or you can close them, but we're just going to do a couple of breaths. This is like an experiment because you might not actually be in a state where you are in a hypo aroused place, meaning you're withdrawn, you're feeling exhausted. You might not be there. So
Right.
this might feel a little weird if you're not there,
That's right.
but this is more for the practice of it.
Yeah.
So just turn your attention inward, and then you can take a natural breath at first. And then on the next breath, just subtly, gently lengthen the inhale, the breath in just a little bit. And then on the exhale, come back to a natural breath. So we're doing the opposite here. You're bringing more breath, more length into each breath in, and then just let it go naturally on the exhale. So just do a couple of those. And then whenever you feel like you've experimented with that practice, you can come back into the space. What was that
Mhm.
like for you?
That one is a funny one. I have to be careful with that one. I tend to be more hyper
Right,
aroused
me
than
too.
hypo aroused. So
That's
I
why this
and
one we
doesn't
usually don't
it yeah,
we don't go there.
unless it's really necessary. This one for me can almost be triggering. So I have to
Right,
only use it if and when the moment truly calls for it. But that goes to show how powerful it is, right? That it
right.
really can elevate and it can happen quickly. So it's a
Yeah.
great one to have. And I have used this one on road trips. When I'm driving, think about it. When you're driving and you're like,
Oh, exhausted.
you're starting to maybe not be
Oh my
so safe to
gosh,
drive anymore.
yes.
Try this on because it is quick and it will work. It will work in that
That's
situation.
genius, Beth.
I
Oh my
know, and it's the
gosh.
kind of activation that can help you that will also fade out of the system faster than something like caffeine would.
Right.
It can be really helpful.
That's so good.
Yeah,
I
it's a good one.
love it. Yeah, I mean, to Beth's point, like if you don't go through the interoception, the noticing of what's
Correct.
going on inside your body, and then the attunement, what do I actually need right now?
Mhm.
Then you might incorrectly draw on these practices and give yourself
Mhm.
what your body actually doesn't want or need in the moment. The time to use the 6 to 4 breath is when you are depleted, when you are exhausted, falling asleep, and you need more energy.
Right.
You wouldn't use this if you're already energized because it's going to overactivate you.
Correct.
And so again, right, it's through the attunement process that you can know how to effectively regulate yourself. And we're just
Yes.
throwing you a bunch of tools that you can add to your toolkit
Mm.
for if and when you need them.
That's right. It's so
What
beautiful.
about the sun breaths?
Oh my gosh. So sun breaths are another beautiful thing that we really get to activate and move the body, which can be also very invigorating. And
Yes.
not like this one is very accessible for me when I don't need a really fast, big hit of energy, but just enough to be like, okay, and I'm back, right? Like that's
Mhm.
what I feel like this one does. This
Totally.
one can also, I think for me, take me from maybe a little bit more of a negative mindset into a, okay, maybe we can. Okay, like
Mhm.
there's something about it that is literally
It's
sunshiny.
sunny.
Right?
Yeah.
And with this microphone here, it might be a little bit hard to activate, but this one, you're going to use your arms. And again, you can just plant down through your, should we try it? We'll
Yeah,
try it.
let's do
Okay.
it.
Plant down through your feet and really lengthen that spine wherever you are. If you're driving, you'll just have to hear this one and try it later because you do need your arms. But with our arms, we're just going to, on our inhale, raise our arms up and over our head. They will find one another at the top of our inhale, and then exhale, we'll bring those hands down to heart center. Should we do like 3 of
Mhm.
these? Okay, ready?
Yes.
Here we go. 1, inhaling up and hands together. Exhale down. 2,
Oh,
inhale those arms up and exhale down. Let's do one more. 3, inhale, biggest breath you've got. Really expand through that spine
yes.
and exhale back down. And I do love with this one, just to hands on the heart and just
Mhm.
notice the subtle shift. Maybe for me, again, not energy, but like joy or positivity, or it could even just be oxygen. Let's be
For sure. I
real.
mean, I physiologically feel my heart beating
Yes.
faster. I like more
And it
alive.
brings all of our attention ending right into that heart center. That could be part of
Yeah,
it
and
too.
y'all, that took like
Seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
So like at any point in your day when you attune, you notice, huh, the body is not energized and I need to give
Hmm.
it some more
That's
love and
right.
energy.
Hmm.
Sun breaths.
Totally.
Best practice ever.
And what did
So
it just do to
simple,
our
so
posture? Do you
easy.
feel what it did
Oh,
to your
yeah. We're
posture?
like
We're up
ready to
again.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're ready to go.
Yeah.
And it's just, wow, all of these practice, they have different incredible outcomes. But
Yes.
those outcomes, you get to decide what you need in the moment. So you're going to
Yes.
draw on a different practice. Like if you need to release tension because you've noticed that
Oof.
you're just carrying the weight of the world in your body, which, especially after a whole year of doing that, of teaching and supporting and loving and nurturing and caring, you're going to have that stress and tension
Yeah.
inside you.
Yeah.
And so if you want to release it, there's other practices that you can do, that like regulation practices that we teach in our masters, like the tense and release. That
Mhm.
one is simple yet so powerful. So
Yes.
you can try this on no matter where you are.
Yep.
You can just literally tense up all parts of your body. So like fists, face, tense your legs, your belly, all the things. Tense, tense, tense. Maybe even close your eyes. And then slowly, mindfully, just release that tension, drawing your hands gently into your lap, reconnecting to the breath. Oh, it's like life changing.
Mhm. Mhm.
No?
Well, and it's beautiful because you're leaning into what the body is doing. So we're not saying no to it. We're
Right.
saying yes. We're saying yes all the
Oh, let's go
way.
in.
And then it is seen, it is felt, and it can
It's like a
totally let go.
literal physical release.
Yes.
Unbelievable. But that might be the thing that you need. You
Yeah.
also might just be like, I got all this stuff in my body. I need to shake it out, right? You
Absolutely.
shake it out, shake it out, shake it out. Or
Yeah.
maybe you need a bounce. Bouncing, I mean,
Uh-huh.
little
Yes.
ones, like
Yes.
in my pre-K class, this was like the thing. But like
100%.
as adults, we can access bouncing too when we
Yes.
need it.
Yes.
Or even the tapping. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
finding your fingers, and maybe you start with the temples
Mm-hmm.
or the forehead.
Or even the top of the head.
There's like a whole
Mm-hmm.
practice around
There
this in the
is.
field. EFT.
Yep.
Yeah, you can just this one, oh,
Mhm,
it
but then it can
literally
even just be, like, down the
it's like a
arms.
little
Like,
massage
maybe
almost.
that because it's just that sweet little, "Hello, body. Here
Yeah,
you are. We're together. We're
right.
here.
Yeah,
I got you."
yeah.
Yeah.
So you all just got access to a ton of different regulation practices, right?
Mhm.
Some that ground and center you, some that energize your body, some that release tension. And when you move through those first two competencies of interoception, noticing,
That's right.
and then attunement, listening for what your body needs, then you can draw on the ones that make the most sense in the moment. And when we are regulated effectively, then we can actually embody the fourth competency of somatic intelligence, which is co-regulation, right? Co-regulation is about our own regulation supporting the regulation of someone or lots of people around us.
Yeah. And the high responsibility here is that whether we are intentionally doing it or not, it is going to happen.
We're either co-regulating or we're co-dysregulating.
Correct. That's so true.
Yeah,
That's
it's
exactly
either
right.
I mean, in my dissertation, I followed a bunch of educators into their first year of teaching, and I remember so clearly Marissa saying, "When I am stressed,
Oh,
my students are
it's
stressed."
100%
And
true.
then Krista was like, "Well, when I am calm and collected, my students are calm and collected."
Mhm.
So what Krista's talking about is co-regulation. My sense of calmness, centeredness, groundedness, regulation within my body is impacting those around me for the
Yes.
better. They
Yes.
become more regulated. Versus Marissa, my own stress, my anxiety, my overwhelm, my whatever, my frustration, that then has the ripple effect, right? Because we
Yes.
have these mirror neurons in our brains
Mhm.
that take on
Yeah.
the experience of another.
Yeah.
It's a mirror.
Yeah, it's just that we are a connected species. We can't help it. It's part of our design. And so
Yeah.
using some practices and some just giving ourselves the acknowledgement that we can impact not just the way that we feel, but the way that others feel can be
Right.
tremendously empowering.
Right. And there's 4 specific practices that we teach in our master's program around co-regulation. And the first, I would say, is deeply foundational. It's called In Tune, In Touch. And I would really recommend that, like, as you move through your summer, this summer, just doing this one, like, as you're interacting with other people, In Tune, In Touch is not about someone else. It's
No,
really about you. As you're interacting, can you stay in tune and in touch with what is happening in your body?
that's right.
It's like interoception and attunement, but in relationship to other people, but it's still happening inside you.
Yes.
And
And inside the body in particular. So often when we're in communion with another human being, we are still inside of ourselves, but we're in our heads. We're
right.
thinking about our to-do list, or we're thinking about what we're going to say next, or we're
Yeah.
judging what's being said.
Yeah.
This is redirecting that attention and that attunement into the body
Yeah.
and noticing, how am I physically experiencing this communication with this other
Right.
person? Yeah.
And that's foundational in tune in touch. But then the next practice is kind of the next layer of this, which is notice your
High
impact.
responsibility.
Right. Like, I notice that when I am slouched and I am like, ugh, then Beth, it's having an impact on Beth. Like, her energy is lower.
That's right.
That's that's noticing your impact, and that's critical for co-regulation to become possible. If I don't realize and
Mm-mm.
own and take responsibility for how I am showing up in relationship,
Right.
then there's no way I can access my ability to co-regulate with you.
It's so beautiful. It's so,
Yeah.
so true. And I think when we are, especially in schools, we are so often working towards that regulation in our classroom, that thing, that external, that when we get into these quieter times, we're maybe not so hyper vigilant about
Mhm.
what, and I'm not saying we should be hyper vigilant, but we're not so aware of
Mhm.
our regulatory selves, having an impact on the other people in our lives. Summertime is the perfect opportunity to take that practice into your personal
Oh,
existence.
so good, so
Yeah.
good. And then you can also engage in the practice of 360 listening. This is like noticing the energy of what's going on in the room. So if I'm with one other person, you, for example, Beth, right? I'm picking up on what is happening for you energetically, like in your words, in your nonverbal gestures, what's going on. And if I'm in a group setting, maybe at family dinner, I'm like 360 listening. Okay, what's going on with these people, but also in the energy of the whole environment.
Yeah.
And when we are attuned to that, then we're way more likely to actually engage in the practice of co-regulation, which is what the fourth practice is steady support, right?
Good.
Offering my steady support to you. I'm aware of what's going on in me. I'm noticing my impact. I'm able to see
Take it
what's
all in.
happening here, take it all in. And then I can give you what
The steady
yeah,
support.
I can just be here to support.
That's right. That's right, and that's what we all wanna do for one another.
Right.
But we have to move through you almost have to move through all 4 of those steps before you can be in a place to offer that steady support.
Right.
Yeah.
And as we shared at the beginning of this podcast, somatic intelligence ultimately is about our vitality. That's the
Yes.
fifth competency. It's like that experience of aliveness.
Summer's supposed to be.
That's what summer is supposed to be. That's
Yeah.
what everyone thinks it is for
Right, it's the
educators.
most alive season, right? Like,
Yeah.
that is where our
Everything's in
planet
bloom.
is where
Yeah.
we belong as
Yeah.
well.
That's why I wore this flower
I
dress
know,
today
it's so appropriate.
for summer. But, right, the way that we can access vitality is through a consistent
That's
practice.
right.
And I feel like that's how you've really engaged in your own transformation is
It
through
is,
finding that.
and again, the beauty of summer is that we have a little bit more space and a little bit more time to
Mhm.
invest in that, because this really is something that can be the most beneficial to you when done as a regular
Right.
practice,
Totally.
a daily practice, or even, and with touchstones throughout your day, which is
Yeah.
how we love to teach this.
Yeah. In our master's program, we teach a beginning, middle, and end of day practice. And
Yeah,
this is something that I highly recommend y'all try on
absolutely.
this summer when
Hmm.
we've got just a little bit more spaciousness before the school year begins again.
Yeah.
And how it works is it's 3 simple steps. The first step is some sort of meditation or breath practice. It's a
Hmm.
centering practice. And I would recommend for the summer 3 deep breaths.
Beautiful.
3 collective breaths, 10 seconds, okay? And then from there, you want to set an intention for your day. And I do not mean what do you want to do today?
No,
I mean, who
no.
do you want to be today?
Yeah.
How do you want to show up? What energy do you want to bring today?
Yeah. How
Maybe
do you
the
want to feel in your body
how do you want
today?
to feel in your body? Maybe it's playful, maybe it's energetic, maybe it's inspired, maybe it's joyful. What else might
Right?
it be?
Strong.
Mm,
Maybe it's present.
yeah,
And maybe it's, I don't know. Maybe it's that inner child, right? Letting that inner child
yeah.
come out and have their summertime.
Right. So, in that intention piece of this beginning of day practice, you get to just find one word that represents the intention that you want to embody for the day. Who do you want to be? And then once you've got that, just add in some embodied mindful movement.
Yes.
Maybe if it's self compassion, give yourself a hug.
It's beautiful. Or if it's presence, you can get down on that floor
Oh,
and root down again,
oh, do
right?
your feel your
Really ground.
roots.
Go out and do it in the grass with your cup of
If
coffee.
it's playfulness, you better turn on that dance music and have a party. Woo, woo, woo,
That's
woo, woo,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So, this practice that you can do at the beginning of your day, like right when you wake up, it can take less than a minute.
That's
Literally,
right.
3 deep breaths, intention, embodied mindful movement.
Mhm.
And it sets your whole day up. You've got that anchor that you can return to each and every moment of your day. And then
Yep.
you do your midday practice. It's a coming back moment.
Center in.
You do your 3 collective breaths, you reconnect to that intention. Oh, my intention was to be focused. Oh, my intention was to be playful. And then honor that, breathe it in and out, and then
Embody it.
embody it with no judgment. It's not like, oh, you didn't do that. You're just bringing it back
Coming
to
back.
center.
Mhm.
And then the end of day, same thing. Your 3 collective breaths. This time you're reflecting on your embodiment. You're celebrating how you lived it, not thinking about how you didn't,
Correct.
just celebrating what you did embody, how you were being throughout the day.
Yes.
And then you likely close with some restorative,
Mhm.
movement or
Yes,
something.
something to close powerfully. And just like you said, those might be the only 3 moments that you're truly aware of that intention
Yeah.
during the day. And that's okay. That's where we're going to begin, but we have to start somewhere.
Yes.
And that's 3 more touchstones than you had yesterday.
And it orients our mind towards the intention, whether or not we're aware of it. It's
Yes.
through the practice. Like, it's like what happens on the mat then comes off the mat through our actions, our words, our thoughts. We start to live the way we want to be, and
Yeah.
that's who we end up
And
becoming.
we know this as educators. This is how we teach our students, right?
Mhm.
Through regular practice. We bring it to their attention.
Yeah,
We bring it to their attention. They make mistakes. We bring it to their attention.
yeah,
And before we know it, they are doing it on their own, right?
totally.
Yeah.
So, should we close with this practice?
I would love
Okay.
that. Let's do
All
it.
right,
Okay.
friends. Find a comfortable position. Again, you can keep your eyes open or closed. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Again, inhale, exhale, breathe in, out with a huge sigh. Now I invite you to bring your hands over your heart and just consider, what is your intention that you have for the rest of today? What energy do you want to embody? Who do you want to be? Maybe you want to be grateful. Maybe you want to be present. Maybe you want to be inspiring. Maybe you want to be compassionate, loving, proud. Just find your one word that represents your intention. And then breathe that intention into your heart. Exhale, release. And then find some way to move your body in a way that helps bring that intention to life. So maybe you're hugging yourself, maybe you're doing some sun breaths, maybe you're dancing. Depends on what your intention is, but find a way to close this practice, to integrate it. And then if your eyes are closed, you can gently open them, come back to the space.
Beautiful.
Ah, beautiful. What
Yeah.
was your intention?
Joy is what came up for me. Yeah, and it just feels like I love all of this is so meaningful for me. And when I began this work, it felt serious and it felt healing and it felt like work. And
Mhm.
what came to me in this moment is now being at this stage in it, it's just one of my favorite things to talk about. And it's
Yeah,
just such a beautiful way of living that it's like joy is just readily accessible
yeah.
anytime we're in this
It's
space.
so
Yeah.
beautiful, and that's really our intention for all of you listening,
Yeah.
for you this summer to experience more vitality, to
Yes.
experience more joy, to have space for yourself, to reconnect
Yeah.
to who you are at your core, your purpose, your creativity, and at the end of the day, it's through the body
Yep.
that we can do this. And
Yeah.
that's why we started here today. And we
Mhm.
felt like focusing on our somatic intelligence, because it's through really listening to and nurturing and giving our body what it needs that we can access this state of vitality and aliveness. So
That's
we
right.
hope you have such a wonderful summer, and
Yes.
just put into your life these practices in a way that just feels authentic to you.
That's right.
You've got a toolkit now of a bunch of strategies: interoception practices, attunement, regulation, co regulation, and
Mm.
vitality practices. So just draw on them as feels, in whatever way feels good to you.
Yeah, and use this I mean, gosh, even just this particular, episode, like, use it as a tool, come back to us. Come back
Totally.
to us and practice with us. We are here for you all summer long. We'll be right there in your ear walking with you.
Congratulations, you made it.
We did
Happy summer.
it!